Rain poured over the city like melted steel, washing dirt and smoke into the drains. The lights of the alien district flickered in broken neon colors, purple, green, and blue, painting the wet streets in strange reflections. Marcus Hale, a 35-year-old human engineer, walked alone under the dim lights. His jacket was soaked, his tools heavy in his pack. He had just finished repairing a damaged power hub for the alien quarter, a job no one else wanted. Most humans avoided this side of the city. Too many had vanished here. As he turned down a narrow alley to take a shortcut home, he heard it, a sound that froze his steps. A soft cry, high-pitched, afraid. He stopped, listening through the rain. Then it came again, clearer this time, a child's whimper. Marcus moved closer, his boots splashing through puddles. The alley was narrow and full of shadows. At the far end, 3 thugs surrounded someone small, a child no older than 8. Her skin glowed faint blue, almost transparent, and her big silver eyes shimmered with fear. She was not human. She was one of the Lyraean, an alien race often hated by humans after the last war. The men laughed cruelly. One of them held a knife that shone under the rain. "Look at this, boys," he sneered. "A lost little glowbug. Bet she'll sell nice if we bring her in." The girl backed away until her back hit the wall. She held a small pendant in her shaking hands. Tears rolled down her cheeks and mixed with the rain. Marcus felt something burn inside his chest. He could have walked away. No one would know. No one would care. But he couldn't. Not this time. "Hey," he shouted, stepping into the light. The men turned. One laughed. "What's this? Another hero?" Marcus didn't answer. He walked closer, his heart pounding like a drum. "Let her go." The man with the knife grinned. "Or what?" Marcus didn't think. He just moved. He swung the heavy toolbox from his shoulder, hitting the closest thug in the face. Bone cracked. The other 2 rushed him. Pain came fast, sharp and deep. A knife sank into his side. Then another. And another. Marcus kept fighting. He tackled one, punched another, took more stabs in the back and stomach. His breath grew short, his legs weak, but he refused to fall. He grabbed one attacker's arm, twisted it until the knife dropped. Blood spilled, his own mixing with the rain. The little alien girl screamed his name, but he didn't even know she knew it. He turned, still shielding her, even as one last knife slid under his ribs. 8 wounds, 8 burning fires inside him. Marcus fell to his knees, the rain hitting his face. The girl crawled to him, shaking. Her small hands glowed faintly as if trying to stop the bleeding, but her light only dimmed against his wounds. He smiled weakly. "Run," he whispered. She didn't. She just cried harder. Then from the corner of his fading vision, Marcus saw something strange. In the far end of the alley, someone was watching. 2 golden eyes shining softly in the dark, calm and still. Not human, not afraid. Watching everything. The last thing Marcus felt was the cold rain washing his blood away. When Marcus opened his eyes again, everything was white. He lay in a hospital bed, covered in bandages. His throat was dry. His body felt heavy but alive. Machines beeped beside him. He turned his head and saw a nurse who froze the moment she noticed he was awake. You're alive," she said softly as if she didn't believe it. Marcus tried to speak, but his voice cracked. "How long?" 2 days, she said. "You were found at the entrance of the East Medical Wing. No ID, no transport log. You just appeared there. Who brought me?" The nurse shook her head. "No one knows. Security cameras went black for 10 minutes. When they came back, you were there." Marcus stared at the ceiling. He remembered the rain. The knives, the girl, the golden eyes. He lifted his arm. There were no wounds, only thin red marks where blades had cut deep. No human should have healed that fast. The nurse glanced nervously at the door. "You should rest." "There are questions being asked." When she left, silence filled the room. Marcus turned to the window. The city outside was covered in thick fog. Something glowed faintly in the sky. A fleet of alien ships drifted silently through the mist above the towers. No engines, no sound, only slow movement like shadows sliding across clouds. Marcus sat up, his heart racing. A chill went through his spine. He didn't know who saved him. He didn't know how he was still alive. But something or someone was watching, and it wasn't over. Marcus Hale woke before dawn. The hospital room was silent except for the slow beep of the heart monitor. Rain still whispered against the window, painting silver lines across the glass. He stared at the ceiling, half dreaming, half waiting to wake up from something that didn't feel real. 8 stab wounds. 8 places where he should be dead. And yet there was only faint pain, like bruises that had already healed. He lifted his hand and touched the bandages around his chest. Beneath them, his skin felt warm, not from fever but from something humming inside him. He remembered the golden eyes in the alley, and the small alien girl clutching his sleeve as his blood fell on her. "Who are you, kid?" he whispered. The door opened softly. A nurse stepped in carrying a tray, but before she could speak, the lights flickered. The machines beeped faster, their screens flashing symbols Marcus didn't recognize. "What's happening?" he asked, sitting up. The nurse's face went pale. "The scanners. They're reading something strange inside you." Before Marcus could reply, the window behind him brightened. A soft blue glow spread across the room. The nurse gasped and dropped the tray. A figure stood outside the glass. Small, fragile, the same alien child. Her pale blue skin shimmered, and her silver eyes reflected sadness and relief at the same time. She pressed her hand against the glass, and the window slid open by itself without a sound. The nurse screamed and ran out. Marcus froze. The girl stepped in quietly, her bare feet leaving glowing prints on the floor. Her long white hair stuck to her face from the rain. She looked at Marcus with trembling lips. "You shouldn't have done it," she whispered. "You were not supposed to save me." Marcus's throat tightened. "You're real," she nodded slowly. "My name is Rinna." He sat up, ignoring the pain. "Rinna, how did I survive?" She lowered her eyes. "You didn't. Not at first." The air around her began to hum softly. The lights turned blue. Marcus felt that strange warmth in his chest again, pulsing in time with her heartbeat. "What are you saying?" he asked. Rinna took a deep breath. "When you fell, I called for help. They came for you. They saved your life because you saved mine. But now they're coming again. Who?" Before she could answer, a sudden explosion rocked the hospital. The floor shook. Alarms wailed. Windows cracked. Marcus grabbed the edge of the bed to stay upright. Outside, something massive was descending through the fog. A dark shape, like a ship but silent, covered in lights that looked alive. Rinna turned toward the window. Her voice grew faint. "They've found me." "Who found you?" Marcus asked, standing up despite the pain. The ceiling burst open with a shockwave. Pieces of light and dust filled the air. Marcus shielded his eyes. When he looked again, 6 tall figures stood in the room. Armored soldiers. Their suits black and glowing with blue energy lines. Their helmets hissed open, revealing alien faces with smooth silver skin and golden eyes. Each one carried a weapon shaped like a staff that hummed with power. The leader stepped forward and spoke in a deep, controlled voice. "Target secured. Princess Rinna of House Etherian, you are safe." Marcus blinked. "Princess?" Rinna turned toward him. "Marcus, don't be afraid." The soldier's gaze shifted to him. "You are the human who bled for her?" Marcus nodded slowly, unsure what else to say. The soldier scanned him with a wrist device. Symbols danced across the air. His tone changed from calm to disbelief. "Impossible. The human's body shows full regeneration. The symbiotic mark has activated." Rinna stepped between them. "He carries my life signature now. If you harm him, you harm me." Marcus stared at her. "What does that mean?" She looked up at him, her silver eyes glowing faintly. "When you shielded me, my blood touched your wounds. Our life energy fused. You're linked to me now." He felt the warmth again inside his chest, stronger, clearer. It pulsed like a second heartbeat. The soldier knelt suddenly, lowering his head to Rinna. "Your Highness, your father's orders were clear. We must bring both of you to the royal fleet immediately." Marcus stepped back. "Hold on, I didn't agree to any of this." Rinna's face softened. "I know, but if you stay, they'll come for you again. Those men who attacked me were not thieves. They were assassins." Another blast hit the lower floors. The hospital lights flickered red. Smoke filled the hallways. The leader raised his arm. "Teleport now." A circle of blue light opened under their feet. Marcus tried to step away, but Rinna grabbed his hand. Her small fingers were cold but firm. "I won't let you die again," she said softly. The floor vanished. Everything turned white. When the light faded, Marcus stood inside a huge hall made of glass and silver metal. Through the window stretched the black of space and the blue curve of Earth below. Dozens of armored soldiers stood at attention. Strange symbols glowed across the walls. And before him a towering banner hung in the air, marked with a golden crest shaped like a burning sun. Marcus's heart pounded. "Where are we?" Rinna looked at him. Her eyes shimmered with sorrow and pride. "Welcome to the royal flagship of the Etherian Empire," she whispered. "And thank you, Marcus Hale, for saving their future queen." Marcus Hale had never seen anything like it. The royal flagship was a city in the sky, its walls alive with shifting lights, its corridors echoing with soft hums that felt more like breathing than machinery. The air smelled faintly of ozone and metal, yet it was clean, pure. Through the windows he saw Earth slowly turning below like a blue marble caught in the hands of giants. He stood barefoot, still in torn hospital clothes, surrounded by armored alien soldiers. They moved with sharp precision, their faces cold and unreadable. Their golden eyes followed him everywhere. Beside him, Princess Rinna walked silently. Her small hand held the edge of his sleeve as if afraid he might vanish. Even among her own kind, she looked fragile, tiny compared to the tall soldiers, her silver-white hair falling down like a river of light. Marcus whispered, "You said your father sent them?" She nodded. "Yes, my father is Emperor Kale of Etherian. When you saved me, the royal link triggered. He felt my fear through the bloodline and sent the royal guard." Marcus blinked. "Your father felt it?" "Yes, but he doesn't know everything yet." They entered a vast chamber. The floor shone like polished glass, reflecting the galaxy through the dome above. A long table stretched across the room, and around it sat tall figures in ceremonial armor, counselors, officers, and nobles. Their robes shimmered with colors Marcus couldn't name. At the far end stood Commander Vare, the same golden-eyed soldier who had led the rescue. His armor gleamed like a mirror. When he spoke, his voice was calm, deep, and sharp as steel. "Bring the human forward." Two guards stepped behind Marcus, but Rinna raised her hand. "He comes with me." The hall went silent. Even the hum of the ship seemed to fade. Vare studied her, then nodded slowly. "As you wish, Princess." Marcus walked beside her until they stood before the commander. Vare's gaze locked on him. "You are Marcus Hale of Earth, engineer, civilian. You risked your life for Her Highness Rinna of Etherian." Marcus swallowed. "I didn't know she was royalty. She was just a kid in trouble." A ripple of whispers passed through the council. One alien noble hissed, "A human touched the royal blood? Impossible." Another said, "He should be cleansed at once." Marcus stiffened. "Cleansed? I didn't do anything wrong." Commander Vare's expression didn't change. "Among our kind, touching the royal blood without permission is forbidden by the old laws. To spill your blood for her, much worse. You mixed life signatures. Your bond is now recorded by the ship's core." "I saved her life," Marcus said firmly. "You'd rather she die than be helped by me?" A sharp voice cut through the air. "Yes." An older counselor stood, his skin pale gold, his eyes narrow. "Humans are dangerous. They bring war wherever they go. We allowed them to rebuild, but not to taint royal bloodlines." Marcus's fists tightened, but before he could speak, Rinna stepped forward. "Enough!" Her voice echoed across the chamber, small but filled with power. "He is the reason I am alive. My guards abandoned me. My escort was ambushed, and this human, alone, unarmed, faced death to protect me." "You call him tainted? Then you insult the throne itself." The council fell silent. Even Vare's eyes softened slightly. Marcus glanced at her, surprised. The child he had saved now stood like a queen. Vare finally spoke. "The council's words are heavy, but the law is older than all of us. Only one can decide the fate of this bond." He turned toward the far end of the hall. From the shadows, a tall figure approached, cloaked in light, her presence bending the air around her. Every alien in the chamber knelt instantly. Rinna bowed low. Marcus froze, unsure what to do. The woman's voice was calm, almost musical. "Rise, my children." She stepped into the light. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver. Her eyes glowed with warm gold. A crown of faint energy floated above her head. Marcus realized who she was before anyone said it. The Empress. Rinna's mother. She looked at him quietly, her gaze deep and ancient. "You are the one who took 8 blades for my daughter?" Marcus nodded slowly. "Yes, Your Majesty." "Why?" she asked simply. He hesitated. The hall was silent, waiting. Because she was just a child. No one deserves to die like that. The Empress studied him for a long moment. Then, to everyone's shock, she smiled faintly. You bled for one who was not your own. Humans still carry courage, it seems. She turned to the council. This human will not be punished. He will be honored. Gasps filled the chamber. Vare bowed deeply. Your Majesty, the bond remains, she said softly. Perhaps it was fate. She looked at Marcus again. From this day forward, you are under my protection. You will serve in the royal guard. Not as a soldier, but as guardian to my daughter. Fail her and you die. Protect her and your name will live in both our worlds. Marcus's heart pounded. I don't understand any of this. Rinna turned to him, her voice gentle. You don't have to understand. Just stay. The Empress raised her hand and a mark of golden light appeared briefly on Marcus's chest, the same spot where he had been stabbed before. It burned but didn't hurt. The human who took 8 blades now carries the mark of Etherian, the Empress declared. Let the stars remember this day. The soldiers struck their weapons to the floor in salute. The hall filled with sound and light. Marcus stood frozen, unsure if this was honor, or a cage made of gold. The day after his honor, Marcus Hale discovered that royal life was not as golden as it looked. The Etherian flagship glittered like a dream, but inside its shining walls, whispers spread like smoke. Everywhere he walked, soldiers paused to stare. Some bowed out of duty. Others sneered openly. He was the outsider, the human who touched royal blood. When he entered the training hall, the air was thick with tension. Dozens of alien warriors in silver armor stopped their sparring to watch him. Their movements were sharp, graceful, inhumanly precise. Energy blades hummed through the air like wind through glass. Commander Vare stood at the center, his arms crossed. Guardian Hale, he said. The Empress gave you a title, but titles mean nothing without proof. Marcus nodded slowly. What kind of proof? Vare gestured to the arena floor. Survival. A young soldier stepped forward, eyes burning with arrogance. Let me test the human, he said. His armor gleamed bright blue, marked with royal crests. If he is truly fit to guard the princess, let him show it. Rinna, standing behind the guards, gasped softly. Vare, he's still healing. Vare's voice stayed calm. Etherian soldiers heal slower than he does, princess. Perhaps your guardian is made of stronger things. Marcus met Rinna's eyes. She looked worried, but also proud. He took a slow breath and stepped into the ring. The alien soldier raised his glowing blade. Don't worry, human. I'll only take one arm. Marcus didn't answer. The match began with a sharp tone. The soldier moved first, too fast. Marcus barely dodged as the blade sliced past his shoulder, leaving a line of heat across his skin. His heart pounded. He remembered the alley, the knives, the pain. He ducked under the next strike and threw a punch. It connected, metal meeting flesh. The alien stumbled back, shocked. Marcus didn't fight like them. His movements were raw, heavy, unpredictable. The crowd began to murmur. The soldier hissed and struck again, this time faster. Marcus caught the blade with his bare hand. Pain flashed, but he didn't let go. The strange glow inside his chest flared, golden through his veins. The blade's energy fizzled out. Gasps echoed through the room. Commander Vare raised an eyebrow. Interesting. Marcus looked down at his palm, unburned. The wounds had sealed instantly. The mark the Empress gave him was glowing faintly through his shirt. The alien soldier dropped his weapon and stepped back in fear. He's touched by royal power. Marcus released the blade and turned toward Rinna. She smiled, eyes bright with both relief and pride. Vare stepped forward. The Empress was right. The bond is active. The princess's life energy flows through you. Marcus frowned. What does that mean exactly? It means, Vare said quietly, that your heart and hers now share a link. If one dies, the other follows. The hall went silent. Even the hum of the ship seemed to stop. Rinna's smile faded. That's why they can't hurt him, she whispered. Or me. Marcus's chest tightened. He glanced down at her, this small alien child who had changed everything. Then I guess we both need to stay alive. Later, the council gathered again, this time in secret. Marcus wasn't invited, but Rinna overheard them as she walked past the chamber doors. The human cannot stay, one noble hissed. The bond is unnatural. If enemies learn the princess's life depends on him, they will use it. Another voice replied coldly. Then perhaps the problem is simple. Remove the human and the bond will break. Rinna froze. Inside the room, Commander Vare's voice rumbled, steady but low. You speak of killing the Guardian. That would kill Her Highness as well. Then let it look like an accident, another said. We have lost enough control to his kind. A human in the Royal Guard is an insult to our blood. Rinna's small hands trembled. She turned and ran, her silver hair whipping behind her. She found Marcus in the observatory deck, staring out at Earth below. The planet looked peaceful, tiny lights glowing where cities slept. They want to hurt you, she said quietly. He looked down at her. Who in the council? Some of them want you gone. They think you're dangerous. Marcus gave a tired smile. Guess that's not new for humans. She stepped closer. I'm sorry, Marcus. I never wanted this. You should have never been pulled into my world. He knelt beside her. Rinna, listen. I don't regret what I did. I'd do it again, her eyes filled with tears. Even if it kills you? He nodded. Especially if it saves someone worth it. For a moment, silence filled the glass chamber. Beyond the window, a distant storm of stars swirled in the black, but neither of them noticed the shadow moving through the reflection. An armored figure watching them from the corner of the hall, helmet glowing faint red. The assassin's voice whispered softly into a communicator. The human lives. Begin the operation. The next day, Marcus was ordered to appear before the Empress again. The summons came with no warning. As he entered the throne chamber, dozens of guards lined the hall. Their faces were hard, unreadable. Rinna was already there, standing near her mother's side, looking frightened. The Empress's golden eyes met his. Guardian Hail, she said, her voice calm. You have proven strength. But in this empire, strength alone is never enough. You will now face the trial of honor. Marcus frowned. What kind of trial? Vare stepped forward. The kind that decides if you live, or if you die as a fraud, Rinna gasped. Mother, no. The Empress raised her hand. It must be done. The gods of Etherian do not recognize bonds unless they are tested in the void. She looked at Marcus again, her gaze softer this time. If you survive, you will truly be one of us. If you fail, Marcus straightened. Then I'll fail standing. The Empress's lips curved faintly. Then prepare, human. The stars will judge your heart. The chamber doors sealed behind Marcus with a low hiss. He stood alone inside a massive dome made of black crystal. Around him stretched endless space, stars burning cold and bright beyond transparent walls. The silence was deep enough to make his heartbeat sound like thunder in his own ears. This was the trial of honor. Above him, the Etherian crest glowed, a golden sun surrounded by 6 floating orbs. The Empress's voice filled the room, soft but commanding, echoing from every direction. Marcus, Hail of Earth. You saved royal blood. You carry the bond of life. Now prove your heart can bear the weight of it. Marcus clenched his fists. How? The light around him shifted. The floor opened into 6 glowing rings. From each ring rose a holographic figure, armored warriors shimmering like ghosts. Their eyes burned with white flame. The trial of the void tests the truth of your courage, the Empress said. Not your strength, not your skill, but your reason to fight. Marcus took a slow breath. The warriors moved. The first lunged fast, a blur of motion. Marcus barely rolled aside, the energy blade cutting sparks from the floor. He picked up a broken staff from the ground, more a piece of scrap than a weapon. He blocked one strike, dodged another, and swung back hard enough to shatter the first hologram. It burst into light. 5 remained. The second warrior struck from behind, forcing Marcus to twist, parry, and counter. Sweat dripped down his face. His wounds throbbed, but his chest burned with that strange inner light again, the mark the Empress gave him. Every time his heart raced, it glowed brighter. The next blow knocked him to the floor. His ribs screamed in pain. He struggled up, blood on his lip. Why do you keep standing? The Empress's voice asked, echoing softly, almost sad. He spat blood and answered, Because that girl's still alive. A pause. Then, even if it costs your life, he smiled faintly. It already did once. The last 5 warriors came at once. He roared, rushing forward like a storm, every hit stronger than before. Each impact sent golden sparks across his skin. His body felt alive, burning, unstoppable. When the last hologram shattered, Marcus fell to one knee, panting hard. The floor glowed beneath him. The Empress appeared in front of him. Not as a voice this time, but in person. She stepped from the air, her silver robes flowing like starlight. You fought with heart, she said softly, and yet you still don't understand what drives you. Marcus looked up, breathing heavily. I don't need to understand it. I just know what's right. She studied him silently. Then her expression changed. Sadness touched her golden eyes. You remind me of someone. Long ago, humans and Etherians stood side by side. Then came greed, war, and fear. We called you monsters, but perhaps we were the ones who forgot what mercy means. Marcus stood slowly, pain fading from his limbs. So what happens now? The Empress raised her hand. A small sphere of golden light appeared above her palm, spinning gently. This is the heart sigil, the mark of my bloodline. Only those who survive the trial may carry it. She touched it to his chest. Warm light spread through him, brighter than anything he'd felt before. When it faded, he was no longer in torn clothes. His wounds were gone. He wore new armor, black and gold shaped to his body. The crest of the Etherian sun burned faintly on his shoulder. The Empress stepped closer, her voice low. From this moment, Marcus Hale, you are no longer an outsider. You are guardian prime of my daughter, Princess Rinna. You will live and die under my banner. Marcus bowed his head slightly. And if I refuse? She smiled softly. Then you will still protect her. That is who you are. Before he could answer, the room's walls shimmered. A projection appeared, blurry, red, full of static. A soldier's voice shouted, Your Majesty! We've found them. The assassins inside the ship. The Empress's eyes sharpened. Where? In the lower engine bay. They've planted charges. The sound cut off in static. Marcus's chest burned suddenly. The bond flared like fire. He felt Rinna's heartbeat racing inside his own. She's there, he said quickly. She's in danger. The Empress's hand tightened. Go, protect her. Marcus didn't wait. He sprinted toward the exit as the dome walls opened to a corridor of light. Guards rushed past him, but he was already faster. The golden glow under his skin pulsed with every step, guiding him. The engine bay was chaos. Flames, smoke, and sparks bursting from ruptured pipes. Rinna stood trapped behind a collapsed pillar, shielding two wounded engineers with her small glowing hands. A masked assassin advanced on her with a plasma blade. The royal line ends here, little princess. Marcus hit him like a storm. The two crashed into a wall, the assassin's blade scraping sparks off Marcus's new armor. Marcus grabbed his wrist and twisted hard until bones cracked. One punch sent the alien flying into the fire. Rinna's eyes widened. Marcus! He knelt beside her, lifting the broken pillar with his bare hands. It felt like lifting a mountain, but he didn't stop. The glow from his chest surged, the mark burning like a second heart. The pillar rolled away with a crash. Are you hurt? He asked. She shook her head, tears in her eyes. They said you were going to die in the trial. Guess they were wrong. The Empress's guards arrived moments later, securing the room. As they saluted Marcus, he noticed Commander Vare watching him from the shadows, silent and thoughtful. The Empress's voice came through the ship's intercom. Guardian Prime, you have done your duty. Marcus looked down at Rinna, who clung to his arm. This isn't duty, he said softly. It's promise. Outside, through the cracked hull, the stars burned brighter than ever, cold, endless, and watching. Marcus Hale, the human who took 8 stabs for an alien child, had now become her shield against the entire galaxy. The smoke from the attack still hung in the ship's corridors. Engineers shouted orders, alarms flashed red, and the air smelled of burning metal. Marcus Hale walked through it all in silence, his armor marked with soot and blood. Not his, but the enemy's. Every soldier who passed him stepped aside. Some nodded in respect, others lowered their eyes in quiet fear. The human had saved the princess again, but Marcus didn't feel victorious. He felt watched. The memory of the assassin's voice, calm, confident, inhumanly cold, still echoed in his head. The royal line ends here, little princess. He had fought hundreds of battles as a human soldier long ago, but this felt different. Too organized, too clean. Someone inside the royal ship had let them in. Marcus stood before Commander Vare in the command chamber. The alien's golden eyes glowed faintly under the room's cold lights. Where's the Empress? Marcus asked. In her sanctum, Vare replied. You will not disturb her. Not until the investigation is complete. Investigation? Marcus repeated, stepping closer. They knew exactly where to hit. That wasn't luck. Someone on your side helped them. The commander's gaze hardened. Be careful, human. You stand in the heart of an empire that already doubts your right to breathe among them. Marcus didn't back down, and I'm the one who saved their air twice. For a moment, silence. Then Vere's expression softened just slightly. You speak with courage and ignorance. You don't yet understand what we protect or what we hide. Marcus frowned. Then tell me. Vere turned away, facing the starfield beyond the window. The assassins came from the Crimson Veil, a faction born from within our own ranks. They believe the royal bloodline has grown weak. They want Rinna dead before her bond to you becomes permanent. Permanent? Marcus repeated. Yes, Vere said. The longer your bond endures, the stronger it grows. You heal faster. You feel her thoughts. Soon you will even sense her emotions. The Empress fears that connection, because it gives you power no alien should have. Marcus's jaw tightened. So I'm a threat. To everyone, Vere said quietly. That night Marcus couldn't sleep. He stood in the quiet of the observation deck, Earth glowing far below, a blue jewel in a sea of darkness. He felt it again, the warmth in his chest pulsing faintly, like a whisper of heartbeat not his own. He closed his eyes and focused. For a moment he saw something that wasn't there. Rinna, asleep in her chamber, her face peaceful, her small hand clutching a pendant shaped like a sun. He could hear her breathing. The bond was real and growing stronger. The silence broke when the door slid open behind him. A figure stepped inside. Vere, dressed not in armor but in dark robes. You should not be here alone. I couldn't rest, Marcus said. Vere nodded slowly, then looked out the window. There was a time when humans were part of our empire. Before war, before betrayal. You remind me of them, of what we lost. Marcus glanced at him. Then why do they all hate me? Vere gave a faint smile. Because you scare them. Not with strength, but with heart. Marcus was about to speak when a quiet beep interrupted them. The lights flickered once, then the ship's entire frame shook. An explosion ripped through the lower decks. Alarms blared, Vere's communicator flashed. Report. A voice crackled through static. Deck 7 breached. Unknown cloaked units teleport signatures inside the hull. Vere drew his energy blade. They're back. Marcus was already running. The corridors burned red as the attack spread. Alien soldiers fought shadowy figures that flickered in and out of sight. The air reeked of plasma and smoke. Marcus moved through it like a storm, cutting down 2 assassins who materialized behind a medic. But then he saw it, at the far end of the corridor. Beyond the fire, him, the same assassin from the hospital attack. Black armor. Red visor. Calm golden eyes. He was walking toward Rinna's chamber. Marcus sprinted, shouting, Rinna! The assassin turned his head slightly, voice smooth and cold. You again. You should have died the first time. He drew his plasma blade. But I can fix that mistake. Marcus didn't wait. Their weapons clashed, metal and light colliding, sparks flying across the floor. Every blow was faster, harder. Marcus fought like a man possessed. The assassin was skilled, but Marcus had something else. A purpose. When the assassin fainted, Marcus caught his arm and slammed him against the wall. The visor cracked, revealing a half-burned alien face. Not fully Etherian, part human. Marcus froze. You're hybrid. The assassin smiled bitterly. You think you're the first human to bleed for them? You're just another weapon they'll throw away. He pushed off the wall, swinging his blade again. Ask your Empress why she really saved you. Marcus blocked the strike, twisting the blade from his grip and driving his own weapon through the assassin's chest. The assassin gasped, eyes wide. It's already begun. Then he collapsed, lifeless. The corridor fell silent except for the sound of Marcus's heavy breathing. Moments later, Rinna appeared at the door, tears in her eyes. Marcus! He turned to her, wiping blood from his armor. It's over, she shook her head. No, it's not. The Empress knows something. The Crimson Veil is not only after me, they're after her too. Marcus stared at her, stunned. What are you saying? Rinna stepped closer, her small hand touching the glowing mark on his chest. You were chosen for a reason, Marcus. You didn't just save me. You woke something the Empire buried long ago. The bond between them pulsed. 1 heartbeat, 2 souls, and far above, hidden in the Empress's sanctum, a shadow watched through a crystal screen, whispering to itself, the human remembers too much already. The royal flagship drifted above Earth like a silent moon. Its golden lights glowed faintly through the dark clouds, but inside, chaos spread through every deck. Marcus Hale stood before the sealed doors of the Empress's sanctum. Smoke rose from his armor, his body bruised, his eyes burning with fury and confusion. Behind him, Princess Rinna clutched his arm, trembling. "Marcus," she whispered, "my mother. She's hiding something." The Crimson Veil knew when to strike. They shouldn't have. He stared at the massive doors. "Then let's find out." The golden doors opened with a slow hiss. Inside was silence. The room glowed with soft silver light. The Empress stood at the center, her long robes flowing like liquid moonlight. Around her floated 6 crystal spheres, each showing an image of different planets. Human worlds, Etherian colonies, all connected by glowing threads of energy. Marcus stepped forward. "You knew this was coming." Her golden eyes turned toward him, calm, unreadable. "Yes." Rinna's voice trembled. "Mother, why didn't you tell us?" "They're trying to kill you." The Empress looked at her daughter sadly. "Because sometimes, my child, survival requires sacrifice." Marcus's hand clenched around his weapon. "What sacrifice?" She walked closer, her expression heavy. "The Crimson Veil was born from truth. They were right to fear the bond between you and Rinna. It is not a curse, it is the awakening of something ancient." Marcus frowned. "Ancient?" She nodded slowly. "Long ago, humans and Etherians were not enemies. We were one people, 2 branches of the same flame. When war broke us apart, the bond between our species was sealed away. You and my daughter reopened it." Rinna's eyes widened. "Then why do they want us dead?" The Empress looked at Marcus. "Because your link changes everything. It can heal what war destroyed. It can unite 2 empires, or destroy both if abused. There are those who want neither peace nor unity." Marcus stepped closer, voice hard. "So you're saying this whole thing, the stabbings, the attacks, the trial, was all planned?" She didn't deny it. "Fate needed to choose someone who still believed in mercy. The moment you shielded my child, the universe answered. But now the Veil knows what you carry. They will not stop until the bond is broken, or until one of you dies." Rinna's voice cracked. "No!" The Empress turned to her gently. "My daughter, listen. The energy that flows between you can save both our kinds, but it must be released. It will cost a life." Marcus felt the room spin. "Whose life?" She met his eyes. "Yours." For a long moment, silence filled the chamber. Rinna shook her head violently. "I won't let you." "He's my guardian, my friend." Marcus looked at the Empress. "And if I refuse?" Her voice grew softer, almost a whisper. "Then billions will die when the Veil's fleet arrives. They will burn every world that carries human blood. Earth will fall within hours." He closed his eyes, breathing slowly. He had died once before, for a child in an alley. He could do it again. But now it meant more than one life. It meant everything. He turned to Rinna. "You said our hearts are linked." She nodded through tears. "Yes. Then maybe we both live, or we both go out fighting." The Empress's eyes widened. "You can't control it." "The power will consume you both." Marcus smiled faintly. "You don't know humans very well, do you?" He stepped into the center of the room, where the glowing threads connected all 6 worlds. The light from his chest, the mark of Etherian, flared brighter than ever before. "Marcus, stop," Rinna cried, running to him. He looked back at her, calm and gentle. "When I found you in that alley, I thought I was saving a child. Turns out you were saving me." She threw her arms around him, the bond between them glowing gold and silver together, one heartbeat echoing through 2 bodies. The Empress shouted, "No!" But it was too late. Light erupted, blinding and pure. The ship trembled as the bond unleashed, a surge of energy that spread through every system, every soldier, every planet link. Across the galaxy, the Crimson Veil's ships froze in mid-flight as their engines died. Their power fields cracked like glass. In one single pulse, the bond connected the human network and the Etherian fleet, forcing every communication line open. For the first time in 1,000 years, both species heard the same heartbeat. When the light faded, Marcus fell to his knees. Rinna caught him, her small hands glowing weakly. "Marcus, please. Don't go," he smiled faintly. "Told you. We both live or both fight." The Empress knelt beside them, awe in her eyes. "You did what no weapon ever could. You made them see us." The mark on Marcus's chest flickered softly. The warmth didn't fade. It spread through the floor, through the ship, out into the void. Outside, the twin suns rose over the blue curve of Earth and the shining Etherian fleet. For the first time, they moved together. The Empress whispered, "The guardian of two worlds." Rena looked down at Marcus, tears shining like stars. "No, my guardian." His eyes opened slightly, a tired smile on his lips. "Guess that's better than dying in an alley." She laughed softly through her tears. Above them, the sky turned gold. The war was over, and somewhere far beyond the stars, the universe finally exhaled.